Welcome back to Off the Record. My God, we're almost puffing and panting coming up 4 floors here. Your dad wouldn't have been in this situation, right? He's a complete fitness freak.
Yes.
I'm told is it true that he used to cycle 50 kilometers a day in the National Police Academy?
Not every day, on certain days. Yes.
50 kilometers a day, just recently?
They did. They also did an All India cycling tour as well, which he was not there in it, but yes.
Okay. Tell us, let us out into this, let out these little secrets about your dad's fitness. Most people, when they see him, Vijaykumar, apart from his policing, also for his incredibly good looks, the man doesn't look anything beyond, he can actually pass for your elder brother. Has anyone asked you whether he's your dad or your elder brother?
They do ask a lot of times, he's like your elder brother. Sometimes it's a compliment, and yeah, I don't.
It should be only a compliment.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Okay, but how does he actually achieve all that? Is he very disciplined with his diet, and does he exercise a lot, or is he just sometimes it's just a matter of constitution of a person, you know?
I think it's a mixture of both.
What does he, have you ever seen him succumb to temptation, gorge on biryanis or ice creams?
Occasionally, yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and exercises a lot?
Yes, it's a combination of both, yeah.
Okay. You're not, you were not inspired to go to do bodybuilding and all that and run like your dad or go along with him to the shooting range?
Yes, I do have an interest in shooting, rifle shooting. I used to be a member here at Chennai Rifle Club years ago. But of late, the last few years, having started up my own business, it's been a very hectic schedule. But yes, I have been giving time for exercise. It is very important to keep fit and be active.
So that the next time we actually come up 4 flights of stairs, we won't really be in the situation that we
I
were
hope
in.
so.
I'm also now inspired to go back to the gym. In fact, we used to earlier. But coming back to this, your Australian stint, you went abroad to study in Australia. You studied architecture there?
Yes, I did my master's in green buildings. Went there in early 2002. We were there till 2007. When I left, I left Australia. I came to India because we were coming every year to India, and we found a lot of opportunities. India is a developing country, and a lot of work here. In Australia, typically an architect would do maybe 4 to 6 projects in a year, with a lot of focus on detail. But over here, I'm doing about 20 or more projects in a year, of various types, interiors and buildings, and a lot of opportunity and scope in terms of what one can do.
Also, green building is catching on big time here?
Yeah, big time. In a sense, you could say it's very commercial in nature. It's all about ratings and getting a label to the building. Okay. While India's always had green buildings. We've had Laurie Baker, who did promote low-cost technology. Those are green buildings as well.
Okay. Yes. And here, sizable, I was just going through your CV, a sizable number of projects that you've been doing are what, government projects? Something about the Napier Bridge?
That's correct. The Napier Bridge, which was inaugurated in July, we didn't do the design. It was LDP from Sydney, but we were the local architects here. So we do a lot of consortium projects. It's the best way for a startup company to actually do projects.
Does surname help there, or is it just completely coincidental?
I really don't know. Sometimes it's best just not to mention the name, because I'm doing the work, so I'd like.
So it's just GA architects, and that's it.
It's just GA architects.
Okay. Nobody really gets into whose son is he, or.
They are a bit surprised when they get to know later.
Okay.
But it has not affected my work.
It's not really used to get you a head start at all.
It has never been.
Okay.
If it had been.
There would be, in a sense, not for you, but at least at some level it could be a kind of a conflict of interest there, which I'm sure your dad is somebody who's always above board and wouldn't like that.
Yes, he's a cop, he's doing his job. I'm an architect, I'm doing my job. There's no conflict of interest there.
Absolutely. So tell us more about these government projects that you're into. Of course, the Napier Bridge, yes.
We've done a lot of work for the Social Defence Department, all their homes all around Tamil Nadu. We've done extensive study there and given them master plans and reports.
The homes, because that's important because many of them escape.
That's
many
right.
of these people, juvenile delinquents,
there have
escape.
been plans to raise the height of the walls.
Okay.
The facilities are bad, so we need to. They've been doing their best. But things take time. Government projects take time. The tender process is so
And also
long.
they shouldn't look really like jails, because the whole idea of the Juvenile Justice Act is to not make them feel that they are, it's a legal process and they are in a jail. So obviously a lot of that also has gone into the construction of these homes.
It has. A lot of it has been done earlier during the British times and later. But at this stage, what we're just proposing is basically renovation to existing buildings and possible new buildings. Basic facilities like dining and dormitories and all that. Apart from the...
and escape proof.
Escape proof, yes. But apart from this, a few projects for the Corporation of Chennai, office buildings, interiors for some other departments in Tamil Nadu. We are working with the CPWD as well. We're just initiating a few projects.
Well, it's not just these juvenile homes, Arjun, also the courts. I mean, what have you observed? I mean, from between two countries, when you take in accused into courts, criminals, sometimes hardcore convicts into courts. Now, of course, we're doing video conferencing. But have you ever thought of that as well, making courts more, foolproof in terms of security?
Definitely, because in terms of approach to design in Australia, everything is, you do have user group meetings, and for example, if you look at the court design, in India, whether you're accused, victim is going to court, you've got to cover their face in a bag and cloth or it's exposed. I'd say you take them in a vehicle, and the design should be such they're taken straight into the court building, and after the trial, let them decide whether they're accused or whether, to prove.
So there's no stigma attached to the accused, and
That's
also
right.
the accused also don't get punched. Like for instance, we saw the Rathore case. You have people who obviously are very aggrieved and go and also attack them. There are also revenge killings.
That's correct. If you look at the Supreme Court judgment recently, the Supreme Court has said the infrastructure is lacking for the courts. I think we need to involve architects to really seriously look at the design approach to these things. In medical planning, you need to have the government architects and engineers to involve architects and look at the space planning and in a technical manner.
All right, so it pays to really have an architect with police genes.
Yes.
Australia, are these racial attacks? You're the best person to answer this. Somebody who's been there. You're an overseas Indian citizen. You still have your Australian citizenship.
That's correct.
Okay.
And I do go there every year, once or twice, and I think it's.
You've never felt the need to relinquish that?
No, I think this is the best way I could serve both countries, because Australia has given me a lot, so I don't need to be associated with Australia, and I would like to give something to India, and this is the best way I can give to both countries. And in terms of the racial attacks, I think the press in India has always been overboard. Sorry for the press, but I'm talking about the newspapers especially.
No, you can say the electronic media as well, that's okay.
So I've been there, we've been a student. Racism is there in terms of...
to what extent has the press gone overboard with hyping, as you say?
I think it's been a hype, and as a result, the inflow of students there has drastically dropped.
But how is it that to be a student? Do people come out and look for Indians and beat them up?
Not exactly. In terms of crime, every city at night is very unsafe beyond a certain time, at 11 or 12 in the night. If Indian students who are working at the restaurants or who are coming back after work, and they cannot report these crimes because some of them are actually working illegally, some of them, because you're allowed to work only 20 hours a week, maybe working 50 hours a week. So those sort of things, crime is there. So, but in terms of opportunities...
That's interesting, 20 hours a week.
20 hours a week.
That's what some people...
Because they want you to study, not work. That's the idea.
Okay.
Yes.
20 hours a week, okay.
Yes.
So you're saying that it's entirely blown out of proportion?
It is. Now it's, maybe it's...
Are these isolated cases just blown out of proportion, or there is that prevalence of
I think it is increased.
In
fact, maybe the thing is increased now with the coverage. That's my feeling.
So this is actually, the coverage has actually been a catalyst, is it?
Has
It's
been a
fueled more
catalyst.
attacks. For what? To get media attention or what?
I wouldn't know what to say, but definitely we're living in India.
That was not a reason for your coming back here?
Not really.
Packing your bags?
No. I'm happy in both places. So I would never say that's the reason to be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you vote in India?
No, we can't. And I think that's something I think the Indian government or the politicians have cleverly excluded the expat Indian population, the people of Indian origin, because you would have...
That's strange, isn't it, that you're not allowed to vote?
I think you have about 30 or 40 million people of Indian origin. Imagine what that could do to the vote bank in India if you had them to choose the politicians.
But are these people who really go out and vote there? Because there is that again this,
yes, in
this
Australia
apathy when it comes to voting and...
You mean overseas or in India?
Yeah.
I think overseas it's compulsory to vote. In Australia, if I don't vote, I get sent a fine.
Yeah, but here I'm talking about here. One reason is that would it really make such a difference?
I think it would make a difference. People should come out and have their say.
No, the
So why
people, I mean, this particular category of people, they are so caught up in 1 foot here and 1 foot there. So would they really have the time to put to trudge to the EVM, stand in a queue and press that button?
There are many cases people do cancel the tickets and stay back to attend the election here, the general election.
Okay.
I have my uncle, Mr. Granduncle P.P. Nair, who he was a resident of Kuwait. He would go and take part in the elections. So I think overseas citizens or people, expats, are a bit more responsible or want to express their rights, and so they do go in. Yeah.
All right. Well, time for another short break on Off the Record. When we come back, we'll talk more about Arjun Vijaykumar in the future, and also post-retirement, when Mr. Vijaykumar actually retires in about 2 years from now. What are his plans? Son and father and son going to team up in some way? All that and more when we return.